welcome to Thematic Road Mapping. I'm your host, Maxwell Breeden, and I'm going to be going over all the different workshops that are involved with thematic road mapping. But before going into all of that, I wanted to address really the problem statements around, why it is that we might be exploring thematic road mapping as a solution, right? And you're not alone in some of these issues that you may be facing. Common ones that drive people to using thematic roadmaps are the following. The first one being, teams struggling to prioritize their work because they just don't know what it is that the organization is trying to accomplish long term. Usually this is due to lacking a clear vision statement, and so we'll be going through how to draft one of those. And the second one is a lack of motivation without knowing the impact that the work is having on the business or the customer, right? We see teams that are working on these features and they really just don't understand, what it is that they're trying to drive. What is that change that they're trying to drive and impact? And so with that, we'll go through some OKRs or objectives and key results and how to set those and have them grounded in your long-term vision. And then the last one, too, that we see here is teams reacting to business needs rather than being proactive by addressing customer needs and pain points. And that we can address with things like prioritization frameworks, which I have in this workshop as well. And so we'll go through how to set that up and so that everyone's aligned on what it is that's most important and that we can, move forward with addressing the most important projects first. And so down below here, you'll see a quick overview of what that plan will look like. It involves several workshops that can be spread out or all done at the same time. But the first one is just a kickoff meeting that gets alignment across all of the key players that are involved and who needs to be involved. And then we'll go through that vision workshop. We've got an OKR workshop, theme definition. So the work that needs to be done based around any prior research or analytics, and then the prioritization that I had mentioned. And then, of course, we're done after that. And so there's several steps involved. You'll see here is the kickoff meeting. Typically, this is a shorter one where we involve the key players. We want to get representation from all the different teams to make sure that they have input and also that we get buy-in for when this thing is completed, that everybody's on board. And it'll also go through success factors. So any concerns or risks that could derail this roadmap from being successful, let's address any of those concerns now and see what we can do to mitigate those right away so that we're successful by the end of this. After that, we'll set up another workshop with your team to go over crafting a vision statement. So if you don't have one already with your company or your team, we'll go through how to create that, have it be grounded in customer research on, what it is you're really offering, your target customers that you're going to be impacting, the problems that they have, and how, you're going to be unique compared to maybe your competitors. And so once that vision statement is drafted up, we'll be able to address the objectives and key results, or OKRs. And these will be more of your qualitative goals, and then the key results or metrics, business metrics that will impact the objectives, and again, ultimately roll up into that vision. And this is where, key players on your team will be able to say, this work or this feature will impact, this business metric, and ultimately help us accomplish what we're trying to achieve. After the OKRs, you'll officially have your foundation, which really sets you up for success on road mapping. And so with the first step of road mapping, again, you want to go back through, collect all the analytics, all of the prior research maybe gathered from your user research team or your customer insights team, and document all of that, maybe pull in some journey maps, blueprints, etc. And also potentially run some stakeholder interviews, or you can do this part with the whole team as a group, but collecting your business ideas, right? So sometimes there's ideas that aren't necessarily rooted in a specific problem you're currently having, but allows you to be innovative and strategic as well. So you want to just capture everything. And what we'll do there is group those kind of inputs, what we call them, into different themes. And then each of those themes will be defined. And with each of those definitions, each one will be grounded in a need or problem statement, who that work is going to impact, the key business objectives, going back to the OKRs that you're going to be influencing with that theme of work, the product areas that will be impacted, which helps you bring in the right people or the right stakeholders and teams who are going to be involved in that work. And then, of course, assigning ownership so that somebody can be responsible for moving that work along. We also have some sub themes in here which will cover basically the smaller portions of this larger theme. So let's say it's broken down into some maybe smaller areas to digest and address one at a time. Some sub themes might be a larger effort than others, and so it's helpful to sometimes break these themes down if needed. And then, of course, you can always add tags to help you have an easier time keeping track of what work that's impacting, um, and assigning any dates and so forth. And once those themes are thoroughly defined and everybody's on board, based, it's all grounded in research, we'll then look at prioritization. And I know all different teams do prioritization differently. This is just one example that we'll walk through in this course, and you guys will be able to set the criteria and rate those themes so that everybody's aligned on what is most important and why it's most important. And by the end, you'll have a now, next, and future framework in terms of how you want this work to be organized and completed. And so that if new projects come up, right, if the business comes down with any new ideas, you can assess and rate that and then compare it against the other themes of work that you have going on to see if it's worth pivoting or if you need to finish the work that you've got going on now and when to pull that new request in. And so that's a quick overview of thematic road mapping. I'm excited to be able to share this with all of you and hope you get a lot of value out of it. Thank you.